First, let's start with this case. Hi, so I, 24M, am currently the manager of a clothing store in my local city. I just work here on weekends and holidays in order to pay for my university tuition in psychology, focusing on the youth. It's a typical Sunday when I hear a child, must have been about 9M, screaming. He was screaming things like, "No! And I don't want you in the changing room with me." I go to check it out after a few minutes of nonstop screaming, and I find out this young man is shopping with his family. Mother is trying to force herself into the changing room whilst the boy is audibly screaming. He doesn't want her in there. His older brother and dad are stood there laughing. Mother apparently wants to see him in his new clothes, which is fair. However, in my opinion, this little boy is letting her know that he'd rather not have her in the changing room whilst he is trying them on. I step in and ask what's going on, and Mother scolds me about how I should mind my business, and this little, dramatic boy, in her words, should let her into the changing room. I, as a manager, have the obligation to make sure other customers can shop without a child screaming. So I tell the mother, and boy who's come out at this point looking rather sharp, that perhaps we can make a deal. Mother waits outside until he's changed, and he comes out when he feels ready to show off his new clothing. This, however, upsets Mother greatly, and a young twerp like me shouldn't be telling people how to raise their kids. I respond by saying Mother doesn't respect his autonomy and is both upsetting him and other costumers. Father laughs this off, as does the older brother. After 5 minutes of this Mother yelling at me non-stop, I got security to escort her out of my store for name-calling some awful slurs. Edit. I've noticed many people seem to doubt my credentials when it comes to my studies. I currently have my bachelor's degree, am on my way to my master's, and have done about 6 years of internships at different counselor offices and others like it. Am I in the wrong for interfering with this family? Let's start judging. You're not in the wrong. Mother was making it publicly known that she does not know how to respect her child's privacy. Everyone deserves privacy, even if you used to change their diapers and dress them. You're not trying to raise her child for her. You're trying to maintain an environment that others can enter to shop peacefully. I do understand how some can make the argument of you being nosy, but as you mentioned, you could hear a young boy screaming things like, "No!" and "I don't want you in the changing room with me," which if I heard that alone with no other voice to associate with the things he was screaming, my mind immediately goes to one thing, and I don't know about anyone else. But if that was the case, I am not going to sit there and listen to it. I'm going to investigate and deal with it accordingly. You're not in the wrong. 9 is old enough to state a reasonable request, and a parent honor it. What you suggested was entirely legitimate, and what should have been the situation in the first place. IDK why Mommy Dearest had to be in the changing room with him, as 9 is also old enough to put on clothing by himself. Good for you for standing up for this child when his family clearly doesn't respect him. No one is in the wrong. You're not the idiot here. You're just out here trying to keep the peace and protect that kid's right to some basic privacy. Like, dude just wanted to try on a shirt without it turning into a reality show. Honestly, the mom calling you names is just proof she was projecting her own lack of chill. You handled it professionally and found a solid compromise, which she threw out the window. Props to you for standing your ground, though it's giving future therapist energy. The dad and brother laughing instead of helping? Straight up NPC behavior. You're good. Keep rocking the retail trenches with those conflict resolution skills. Next up, I, 19th, have a brother, 24mer, that I'll call Liam. Earlier this year, he started dating a girl he met at his climbing class that I'll call Emma, 26F. They've been together for 4 months, and this weekend he decided to introduce her to us. They arrived yesterday and are staying until tonight. She is a really nice person, and we got along well. Then at one point my dad asked her what she did in life, and she said she was a lawyer. I was super interested because I'm currently studying law and have wanted to be a lawyer since I was maybe 10, so I was very excited to ask her questions about it. I asked about cases that she had, how she studied to become a lawyer, what her days looked like, and many more things. I might have been a little over-enthusiastic and annoying, but I didn't realize it at the time, and was just excited to get to ask someone questions about my dream job. But at one point she said something that seemed incoherent to me. The details might be long and boring, but basically she just said something that isn't technically possible. So I was curious and a bit confused, and I asked her how that was possible, because I just thought she's the professional, so she must know better than me. But as she tried to explain it, she just said more incoherent and impossible things. It was kind of like if someone was quoting things from Grey's Anatomy to doctors, if you see what I mean. So I asked more about it to understand, and that's when she admitted that she wasn't actually a lawyer and worked at a bookstore. She told us that she was very sorry for lying, and then left the table, and my brother followed her. My parents kind of scolded me for being so intrusive, and when my brother came back, he was a bit angry. He started telling me that I was wrong for interrogating her, and that I made her uncomfortable, and that she had lied because she was embarrassed about her job, and I just made her more embarrassed. Now he hasn't been talking to me since, and neither has Emma. I'm not sure I'm in the wrong here, but they all seem to think so. I get that me asking questions was annoying and maybe a bit too much, but I truly didn't have bad intentions. I was just excited to be able to talk about it with someone. And also, I don't understand how everyone is so okay with the fact that she lied to my brother for 4 months, and then also lied to us. I get being embarrassed, but I don't know, it's still a bit weird to me. But I never meant to make her uncomfortable, and I genuinely liked her. I don't see how I'm in the wrong, but maybe I just can't see it, so please tell me so that I can have another perspective. Edit. For everyone wondering if I'm on the spectrum or neurodivergent in any way, I haven't been diagnosed with anything, but many doctors and teachers of mine have mentioned it to me. I can understand why, but I don't want to self-diagnose, obviously. I haven't been able to get tested because my parents don't believe in that stuff. But as soon as I'm fully independent, financially, and living on my own, I will get tested. Let's start judging. You're not in the wrong. If it was a smaller lie with less wider implications, whether she has traveled to X, whether she saw Y in concert, etc., then you would be in the wrong for trying to pick holes. But for her to have lied about something so big as whether or not she is a lawyer, with the other implications about her career trajectory, financial situation, her ambitions, etc., is a fairly big thing for your brother to be kept in the dark over. It might be that she was saying it because she is wrongly embarrassed about just working in a bookstore, in which case she probably isn't a bad person. But whatever her motivation, it's not great that she has misled your brother for so long. It also begs the question, what else has she lied about? You're not in the wrong. I mean, maybe learn to read the room, but still an excited young person talking. Bit too much about something, is at worst a little socially unaware, but that's not bad. You couldn't have known. She played with fire and got burnt. Not to mention, how could you possibly think this could work out with such a huge lie? And over so long, this is someone with some serious issues. Even if she didn't have malicious intentions, is still very disturbed. You're not in the wrong. She told a big lie and got caught out. Whether she got caught out now, by your curiosity, or later, by you going to her for advice on how to get into your dream career, work experience, etc., this lie was not going to last. You're not in the wrong for being interested, then having a say-what moment when she got an answer wrong on your special interest. Next up, I, 17M, have a difficult relationship with my mom, 42F. My parents got a divorce when I was 4, and I live with my dad. Until last year, the custody agreement was that I spent every other weekend with my mom. But she had a boyfriend at the time who was a creep, and I hated him. She ditched him now. He was watching porn all day and wanted me to watch with him. I couldn't stand that, so I refused to go. If you want to know more about that, I posted to get advice about that, so it's in my post history. Easier than to have to retype everything here. If you need more detail, just ask. Anyway, there was a huge fight between my parents. My dad went to court and got full custody. Later, we learned that my mother's BF got her hooked on meth. She picked up drug charges, she was arrested and posted bail and got probation. My mom can be quite a PETA and is kind of abusive, but not all the time. We didn't talk for months after the story with her BF until a few weeks ago. She was calmer than the usual, and even nice, actually. Said she wanted to see me, so I went. She lost her job because of the arrest. She can't pay rent, she has fines and court fees, and she says that if she doesn't pay, she'll be arrested again. She wants to see me, but I'm not sure I want to do that. She asked if I can help her. Truth is, I've been working with my uncle and my dad on weekends and holidays, and I've made some money. I still live with my dad, so I don't pay rent or anything. I could give her some money, but I don't want to because I'm mad at her for what she did to me, selling and destroying my stuff, calling the cops on my dad, protecting her creepy BF, and she's just so annoying. I said I would think about it. I wasn't brave enough to say no to her face, unfortunately. She asked over text 2 more times. I don't want to give her money, but at the same time, she wants money for legitimate stuff like rent and court fees. I know it's not for drugs. She's clean now. She's going to be homeless and maybe be arrested. Some friends tell me to not give her anything, and some friends tell me I have to help her because letting her go to jail is too much. If she becomes homeless, that makes me feel real bad, even if she's not a good mom. Am I in the wrong for not helping my mother, even though I could? Let's start judging. You're not in the wrong. She only reached out to you because she thinks she can con you into helping her by using your own emotions against you. If she goes to jail, it will be because of her own actions, and maybe it's what she needs to learn a lesson. Tell your father about this. You are still a minor. Even if you were legally an adult, her poor life choices are not yours to fix. You're not in the wrong. You're not in the wrong. Do not give her money. This is going to set you up as her personal ATM for the rest of your lives. Please tell your dad about this. She's counting on your feelings for her to exploit you. She has shown that she does not have your best interests in mind. Please, please, please do not meet with her and tell your dad. You deserve better than to be taken advantage of by your mother. She is manipulating you. This is emotional, psychological, and financial abuse. Next up, my 34F sister, 43F, is broke and has no groceries, according to her. I have not personally seen her kitchen. She is asking me for $40 to borrow. She never pays anyone back, so she can get some groceries. I told her I'm really strapped for cash right now myself, as I just had to pay rent, bills, and take my dog to the emergency vet, which in itself cost $487. I don't get paid again until next week. As a note, she does not work due to several health issues. Her husband works, but doesn't make that much, yet somehow makes too much to qualify for food stamps. I told my sister what I could do is go to the Dollar Tree and get some stuff to help get them by until he gets paid. She got upset and offended and said, no thanks, I'm good. I told her I watched this lady on TikTok who makes really good-looking stuff with Dollar Tree items. She still said no, especially because their meat looks nasty, and her main meal she eats daily is meatloaf, which I really can't afford to get ground beef as it's so expensive around here right now. I told her, well, beggars can't be choosers. That's her option. Either that or go hungry. She said she'd rather go hungry and hung up on me. So, am I in the wrong for offering to get my sister groceries from the Dollar Tree? I feel like I might be the idiot, because yes, I could give her the $40, but then I wouldn't be 100% certain that would actually go towards groceries. She smokes weed, and I've learned the hard way to never give her cash. But now I feel like an idiot and a bad sister. Edit to add. I think I gave the wrong impression with the makes too much for food stamps comment. The quotations was because I think it's ridiculous the state denies people food stamps when they're clearly struggling. I've been in that situation too, where I was only able to pay for rent and utilities and get my food from the food bank, and still I didn't qualify. The system sucks. Update, thank you everyone for your input. My dad, whom my sister refuses to have anything to do with, long story for another post, very generously decided to cash app her $40 for groceries. And she did show me proof that she spent it on groceries. Yes, to make meatloaf and mashed taters, lol. Anyways, just wanted to share that. We decided family is family, and it was just the right thing to do. Let's start judging. In general, you're not in the wrong. The only thing I would say is in regards to the somehow makes too much to qualify for food stamps. That did happen to a friend of mine who had been struggling as a single mom raising her kid. The kid's dad was in prison, so no support coming from him. She'd gotten a raise at work, and she was initially excited about that. But it put her exactly $1 over the amount she was allowed to make to qualify for food stamps, and yet she still couldn't afford much. As she put it, I was actually better off without the raise. You're not in the wrong. I've seen the Dollar Tree dinners lady on YouTube. I'd cake if it's the same person because there's quite a few budget YouTubers and Instagrammers that I watch. I feel like that was really nice of you, especially with someone you know won't pay you back. She is acting entitled. You're not a bad sister. She is trying to manipulate you into thinking that. When you're strapped for cash, Dollar Tree, Dollar General, Family Dollar is not below you. And a lot of us have been there. You're not in the wrong. Anyone truly in need would be grateful to get what they can get. A few Dollar Tree soups, boxes of pasta, frozen veggies to tide them over. With what you've said, I agree there's no guarantee the money would be going towards what she says.